Good morning, good morning. It's another Q&A Tuesday with Elisa James, voice and presentation coach. It is so lovely to have you all here, and I'm here to answer your questions live. Now, we are going live on Instagram, we're going live on Facebook, and also in YouTube. So no matter what platform that you're watching this on, please just comment below if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer those live on the show. All you have to do is let StreamYard know your name so we can see it, and then I can bring those questions up on the screen. As long as it's clean and it's non-political, I will answer your question. So welcome to the show today. I'm Elisa James, and I help people speak up and speak out with for themselves so they can speak with confidence and competence across any platform, regardless of whether that's on camera, in the boardroom, or on stage. Now today, because my YouTube channel is the hub of my entire business, what I like to do is every single week I go through all of those comments and questions, and I see who really needs some help, really needs some help. So today I've prepared 3 questions, and it's all about voice, of course, because voice is my jam. It's all about the voice. No worries. That's what I love to do. It's all about the voice. Now, the very first question is about speaking in front of a camera and how nervous you get around that. The second question is around vocal technique, which might be interesting to people who've had a little bit of voice coaching, whether that be a singer, an actor, or a speaker, and you want to know if voice technique can actually improve your voice. And the third question is around which pitch should I use? So let's dive in. You're seeing this on the Voice of Confidence TV. And remember, if you allow StreamYard to see your comments, I can show your questions on the screen. So dive in anytime and join me live. It's so nice to have you all here. Now, very first question. So we're doing a live voice coaching today with Elisa James. Let's jump into it with number 1. Number 1, this question is, as soon as I get in front of the camera, I get tongue-tied. Why does this happen, and what could I do? Now, this is a very, very common question. Many people, when they need to stand up and speak in front of somebody, regardless of whether that's in a meeting at work, in a boardroom, or on camera, many people get really nervous around speaking up in front of other people for this reason. They're really worried about saying the wrong thing. They're worried about what the other people will think of them. They're worried about putting their foot in their mouth. They're constantly focused on what will happen if it goes wrong. Here's the issue. When we go into fight or flight, we go into absolute freaking out mode inside our body. So the very first thing that happens is we hold our breath. And this is why you're tongue-tied. So this person on my channel was really, really worried about going live on camera, even though they really needed to grow their business. So here's what I want you to do, okay? It's a simple, simple little trick. I use it with all of my clients, and it is super effective. I want you to sit on the very edge of your chair, as though you're just about to go to a meeting that is very, very important, and you want to be fully upright and aligned and ready for action. So you can see that I don't want to, put a weird thing on the screen, but I could stand up very, very easily with no hands right now because I'm so upright in my body position. My legs are at right angles. This immediately puts you into a position of confidence. Now I feel that my chest is open. My head is high. It's not up or down, but it's just in alignment, ears over the shoulders. And now I can wriggle my toes to focus on my toes, and nobody will ever know. This is the beautiful thing about little techniques like this, because what's happening in our body when we go into fight or flight is the breath stops, and it stops all the thinking and blood flow and oxygen to the frontal lobe. This is where we think and we come up with content. Now, if you get on camera or open a meeting and then have no idea what to say, you get tongue-tied, it's purely because you've gone into fight or flight, even a little bit. So you want to make sure to get out of fight or flight, you absolutely stop beating yourself up is number one. Stop thinking about going into fight or flight. Number two. Number three, sit up nice and straight. Push yourself to the edge of that chair. Wriggle your toes. Take a deep breath. It's the first thing to do to stay calm. When you can take a big diaphragmatic 1 second deep inhalation and wriggle your toes at the same time, it will dispel those nervous chemicals really fast. Works every time. Believe me, all my VIP clients use this. My group mentoring classes use this. It works a treat. Now, there's a few more steps to how we can make this work and sit it in our muscle memory long term, but this will get you over that hump really fast. Now, next, what I want you to do, so you don't get tongue-tied, is simply take a breath before you speak from your lower belly. And as you speak, I want you to think of this in your mind. When I am speaking, my belly moves in as my voice moves out. When I am speaking, my belly moves in as my voice moves out. Now we are using our very best friend in speaking, our abdominal muscle, but we're using it in the right way. When you use your abdominal muscle in the right way and not in the wrong way, it will absolutely help you stay focused and on track. And this is what happens when we get tongue-tied. Remember, the blood and the oxygen drain away from the neocortex. We can't think anymore. We can't breathe. And then everything just goes to the pack because you can't keep your thoughts together. Sit up straight, legs at right angles, ears over the shoulders, wriggle your toes, take a deep breath. Hi, my name is Elisa James. I'm a voice and presentation coach. I'm thinking in my mind. When I am speaking, my belly moves in as my voice moves out. Take a breath, reset. Today, I'd like to talk to you about 3 things that will really help you improve the vocal sound. Every single time I'm speaking, I'm driving my airflow out with mindfulness and with conscientious thought. That keeps me calm and grounded. It works a treat. So please, I'm going to tag you on the Voice of Confidence TV. I'm going to tag you and make sure that you saw this live, and that will help you move forward really fast. So let's just quickly check the comments here. Hi. Hi, Ice. Nice to see you. You are a great help, Elisa. Thank you very much. You are very I love to have you here. And Kylie. Sweetie, hi. Nice to see you here. Sometimes I say dumb things. For example, I say bye to someone. I might think of saying, have a nice day and see you later. But when I talk, I say a combination of see you, nice day. Okay. So again, that's a little bit of social anxiety, Kylie. It's something that lots and lots of people struggle with. And believe me, I struggled with social anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia, really uncontrolled anxiety for more than 30 years of my life. It had a massive impact on my life. And in fact, that's one of the reasons that I coach now, is because I don't want people to go through the pain that I did. It is just horrible feeling socially anxious, horrible. So Kylie, here's what you're going to do. When you see someone coming towards you and you want to have some sort of genuine connection between the two of you, have a look at them. Look them in the eye. Take a breath and think about something nice and positive to say. Anything. I mean, it's a beautiful day today. The sky is blue. When you see somebody on the street, take a breath, look at the sky and say, isn't it a gorgeous day? Have a great day. That's all you have to think about. You're honestly thinking about the other person, not thinking about you. You see, this is the major thing that most people do wrong when they're speaking and they get nervous about speaking, is that they make it all about the audience. They make it all about the other person. They're worrying about how they're being perceived all the time. You need to throw that out the window and start focusing on, how do I connect genuinely with another heart and a soul that's in this world? And look, we live in a time right now, all of us are locked down. There's so many people locked down. I haven't been out for 4 months. I haven't seen my parents for months. It's a hard time for a lot of people. There's a lot of anxiety going on. And the problem is this: the more we hide and the more we protect ourselves from the outside world and from other people, the more we want to hide and the more we lose confidence. I want you to remember that. It is so true. The more that we're sitting in our cave here, the more comfortable we get with sitting in our cave. And you know what? I've fallen into that trap too. I absolutely have. I've been in lockdown for, 18 months on and off. And I used to do a lot of events, in-person events. I love that. I love connecting with people and hugging them and we do body work together, breath work together, voice work together. We sing together, we make noise together. It's so moving and it's so beautiful. But when you're locked down for about 12 months, and I had the opportunity a few months ago to fly to Brisbane and teach a 5-day voice intensive live, I suddenly, weirdly, got really nervous about it because I'd been locked in a cave for 12 months. I'd gotten used to being in my little comfort zone for such a long time. So I had to learn to get back out of my comfort zone again to serve people live. It was a big transition because we're not doing that right now. So every time that you go out on the street and you're starting to do exercise or you're taking your puppy for a walk like I do, keep your distance, put your mask on, do all the right things, but speak to people. Don't avoid them. Take a breath. What a beautiful day. Isn't it great? How you doing? Are you okay? How's the lockdown treating you? How are you dealing with all this? You having a hard time, or are you working on your own business? What are you doing? Start a conversation based around the other person. That will take the onus off you. Kylie, I hope that helps. It's not about you. Let's see how we can serve and help each other and uplift the vibration of this planet. And we can only do that when we're really open-hearted and open-minded, and we want to honestly connect heart and soul with another human being. And the most important thing you can do is those connections. So don't close yourself down. Open yourself out. It's the best way forward, especially when you're learning new skills and you want to get rid of that anxiety that keeps coming up. So thank you so much, Kylie, for that question. That's really important. And this is exactly why I switched from singing and acting to coaching full-time to coaching people who want to speak, because this is the thing that holds us back the most is our mindset, our beliefs, our nervousness, our anxiousness. It holds us back from living a full life. I remember seeing a movie years and years ago, probably 30 years ago when I was growing up. It was called Strictly Ballroom. And in Australia, it's a bit low, but it's a very pertinent, beautiful story. It's one of Baz Luhrmann's most famous and first movies that he ever made, way before Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman. Now, in that movie, there was a young girl who was very anxious, very socially anxious, and very socially awkward. And the guy who was teaching her dancing said, "A life lived in fear is a life half lived." Think about it. A life lived in fear is a life half lived. You've got to get yourself out of those fear patterns. And unfortunately, Kylie, the only way out is to step out of your comfort zone and start to get uncomfortable, or rather comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. Start to get comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. When we can do that and we can sit with our feelings and despite those feelings move forward, you will absolutely find happiness and fulfillment on every level in your life. So, so, so important. Okay, great. So before we move on to the questions that I've already prepared, we've got Jinlin Orlada. Hi, nice to see you, Jinlin. Welcome to the show. Welcome. She's watching from YouTube. And Kyle is also watching from YouTube. I'm sorry, it's not Kylie, it's Kyle. My apologies. I misread that because the light's in my eyes and it makes me go a bit blind. So Junlin says, It's been 2 months since I've watched your helpful videos. I tried hard to practice and exercise my squeaky voice. I sent it to my friends and they say that it's improved a lot. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you made my day. You absolutely made my day. Sweetie, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I want to leave this world a better place, and we can all do that if we improve ourselves. It all starts here. It all starts taking 100% responsibility for our life, our fulfillment, and our happiness. And even though I'm a voice coach and a singing and acting coach, that's not the biggest picture here. What I do is voice coaching, yes, but what I really do is unleash people's voices and minds from that trapped anxiety and emotion that makes us unhappy and makes us protect ourselves. So good on you. Celebrate good times. Come on. I think that's awesome. I'm celebrating you. That is so, so awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that information. That makes me so happy. You've made my day. Thank you. Okay, now let's move on to question number 2. This is, and I can't remember their names, I forgot to write that down, so my apologies for that, but they posted on my channel, how does technique affect your singing voice? Can you become a more powerful speaker or singer, I presume, to develop a baritone singing voice? Okay, a more powerful voice. Okay, here's the thing. This is a really great question. When people come to me as a speaking coach, as a voice and presentation coach, and they think that singing is going to improve their speaking voice, they are right and they also wrong. Here's why. This is super interesting. If you've never had anything to do with singing and you know nothing about the voice, listen up. If you're speaking, when we're speaking properly, using the correct muscles and the correct vocal wave for speaking, we hear a sound that is clear, strong, and projected. I want you to write that down. When we're speaking, we sound clear, strong, and projected, and we speak in a range that sounds like a spoken voice. It's not up here. It's not out of the spoken range. That would sound really silly if I spoke up there all the time. And it would absolutely disempower me as a vocal coach because it doesn't match my brand. So if I speak too high, I'm going to sound like I'm out of control. I'm going to sound too girly. I'm going to sound too immature. And people are not going to pay attention to me. They're not going to, I'm not going to gain the respect that my expertise deserves. And that goes for anyone who speaks at the wrong pitch, especially girls who are younger and want to be taken more seriously. I'm not saying 12, I'm not saying 17, but as we get older, we need to have a voice brand that fits our age and our expertise. And if that's not happening for you, if that synergistically is not working, then please book in a consult or look at some of my online courses because that will help you move forward. We need a vocal brand that matches our expertise and our experience, and a voice can do that. So when we're learning singing, it can help you in this particular way. If you want to follow contemporary singers, so if you want to sing something like Lady Gaga or Pink or Taylor Swift or whatever it is, if you really close your eyes and listen to those people, they sing with a clear, strong, projected sound. Remember what I said, speaking, the vocal wave for speaking is thick, short vocal folds. It moves very heavy. I'm at the deep end. It's a very big sound. It's a strong sound. So if you copy people like that and learn how to speak or sing in that sound, you are absolutely practicing better speaking skills because you're strengthening that vocal wave and increasing the back pressure, the support, the resonance. You're learning a lot. Singers learn a lot. And sometimes we train for decades to learn our skill. So don't think you can learn it like that because it takes time. Celine Dion didn't become Celine Dion overnight. It took a lot of training and a lot of practice to get there. So if you want to be a powerful, strong, inspirational speaker, start singing songs that sounds exactly the same. So here's the second part of that question. Will it help me develop a baritone singing voice? Now, because this is coming from a gentleman, obviously, and men in classical singing and pop singing mostly sing with a thick vocal fold closure. So when you hear them sing, it sounds very big. It's very different to a light, pretty voice. If you listen to Sam Smith, for instance, or you listen to the Bee Gees in that very high, girly sort of sound, it sounds pretty. It's woo, it's free, it's pretty, it's not big and projected, not like a big opera voice of a guy. So yes, if you're a guy and you're learning opera or classical singing, it will absolutely help you become a better speaker. Because again, it's implementing that thick vocal wave that gives you a very clear, strong, projected sound. Whether you're speaking or whether you're singing, it doesn't matter. It's the same principle. The only difference in speaking range specifically, the only difference is we sustain airflow on pitch for a longer length of time when we're singing rather than when we're just speaking. We let the airflow go and the words stop. That's the only difference. So singing is definitely harder and will absolutely train your voice in the right way if you focus on it in the right way. Now, here's the disclaimer here. If you're a girl and you are learning opera singing or classical only and not pop, and you also want to work on your voice as a speaker, they're in different areas because classical is much higher. Much, much higher. So your other vocal fold wave, the thin vocal fold wave, which is for those really high notes, that gets exercised when you're singing really high. It's not the same as speaking because speaking, remember, the pitch is down here. It's not up here that I want to practice. So you've got to learn that this is a differentiation here. If you're practicing your high singing voice, yes, you'll get really good at that. And you get really good at speaking high and nice and strong, but it's not necessarily going to serve you if you want to be a leader and you want to sound clear, strong, projected in the lower speaking range. They're very different techniques. So I hope that helped. I know it was a bit of a convoluted answer, but the answer is yes, it absolutely will improve your speaking voice if you're singing in your speaking voice. No, if you are singing in your classical high register, way out of your speaking range, and then expecting that to improve your thick vocal fold closure in your speaking range, it's not going to help. Sorry. So decide what you need to sing that will strengthen your voice. So for instance, a lot of classical singers, especially young classical singers who've had a lot of training in that high register, they end up speaking like that with a very airy and weak lower voice because they don't have a speaking voice. It's not kicked in because they're used to using a lot of power in the top range. It doesn't work. You've got to be able to close your vocal folds to get to that low end of the vocal folds, thick vocal fold closure, hey, for a big sound. So make sure that you understand and know the difference between thick vocal fold closure and thin vocal fold closure. You can actually feel it. Hey, woo! It feels very different. Lower voice feels different to higher voice because it's a different vocal wave. Hope that helps. Okay, let's go back to the comment for a second. How to treat my COVID anxiety. Okay, hang on a second. All right, great. All right, let me show this comment. I'm just making sure they're clean because a couple of weeks ago on my channel, I had a very weird question. I showed it before I read it, which was silly because it was just horrible. Anyway, so Junlin has got a very good question. Hey, how to react, how to treat my social anxiety whenever I'm talking. I stutter a lot, presentation and recitation at school, and I can't even say, I don't know what the rest of that says. What, maybe why? Okay. Again, this social anxiety is caused by something, Junlin. The very best thing that you can do is find out where it came from, because we need to, instead of just being suffering through this and creating more future based on our past, we need to break those habits first so we can move ourselves forward. So the exercises that I just gave you in any situation, sitting up or standing tall, open chest, open heart, open mind, take a breath. When I'm speaking, my belly moves in and my voice moves out. You will absolutely not stutter if you use that technique. It's called flow speak. And there is a video on my channel about flow speak and stuttering and stammering. So please go and watch that. I take you through a whole training on how to implement flow speak into your normal speaking pattern. It will absolutely stop that stutter and stammer. I promise you, it works really, really well. I've used it on so many clients. And then Jalyn says, I can't even explain properly, though I have something to answer. I'm sorry, I sent this. Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, so what's happening is because you've gone into fight or flight, that's what social anxiety is. Your body cannot think or function in a calm way until you get rid of those flight chemicals. You've got to get rid of the cortisol. You've got to go for exercise every day. You've got to take control. Pills are not going to help. And sometimes, talk therapy for years and years doesn't help either. You actually have to start working on your body and changing your habits. Change the habits is the key. So use these techniques I've showed you today. It will make a massive, massive difference. Roger Tomlin says, your singing voice sounds a little bit like Olivia Newton-John. Funny story here, Roger. Yes, I had to get used to that growing up because I really wanted to be Tina Turner when I was a kid. I desperately wanted to be tough and I wanted to sound black and I wanted to be, not bush, cedar lemon. I wanted to have a big voice. But every time I tried, and I would smoke and I would drink whiskey, and then I would try all these things to try to be louder and rougher and rock singer sort of chick sound. And then I'd come off stage after almost bleeding my guts out. Somebody would say to me, oh, you have such a beautiful voice. You sound exactly like Olivia Newton-John. It's like, ugh. I tried so hard to be tough and to, add beef to my voice, but it didn't work. Because my voice is my voice. I trained it, yes, and it got stronger and more resilient and I can do lots of things with it, but I'm never going to sound like Tina Turner because I don't have her voice. So I've stopped trying. So instead of trying to be somebody else, I learned by the time I was 30 that I have to figure out what my instrument wants to do. What's the best music and sound for my instrument? And I found that jazz, musical theater, and some classical pieces, that suits me much better than trying to sing a whole bunch of rock and pop. It just didn't work. I've got a lovely clean sound. It's not raspy and rocky by any stretch. But thank you for your comment. It was really sweet. So guys, if you're a singer and you're watching this, and we've got a wonderful live cast coming up on Friday. You've got to make sure you tune in for that. If you're a singer and you're watching this, don't copy anybody else. Find out what your voice wants to do. Find out what your voice is suited to. Don't fight it, work with it. That's my best advice to you as a singer. I did that for 35 years and I kept on reinventing myself over those 35 years and had an amazing career. All over the world, I sang all sorts of different things. My last one was cabaret, which I absolutely loved. So let's move into question number 3, and then I'm going to go back to the comments before we close down today. So this gentleman is struggling with a low pitch. Now he said to me, I use a constant low pitch in a professional setting, but after a while it becomes boring to listen to. How can I break this habit? Now, a lot of people use a low pitch because they think it conveys authority and leadership, and they would be right. But if you have a think about or listen to the sound of my voice right now, I'm physically on purpose lowering my voice box to get the lowest note that I can and project it out using my belly muscle at the same time. So I'm not going to hurt myself because I'm using my voice properly, but you can see that low tone is a little bit much over time. It almost becomes monotonous. And any monotone will send people to sleep. We need to add musical inflection to our tone and mix it up. So what I would suggest is this: use a low tone to convey that authority, to get the attention in the room, and then add some interest to keep them really interested and excited and engaged in your content. And when you need to speak a very serious point, guys, okay, what I want you to do after this meeting is I need you to do 1, 2, and 3. When you have a serious point and you're giving a directive, go low and go slow. If you want to build interest and excitement, go higher, because that is going to sound more infectious and enthusiastic, that higher pitch. So I have a rule, and it's simply this: make sure that every sentence is a new surprise. Write it down. Every sentence is a new surprise. The reason that people switch off and it gets boring to listen to is it becomes monotone. The patterns become the same. You've got to listen to your voice and figure out how to change those sounds. And I do this every day in my coaching. If you are interested in coaching, please just type, I would love to book a consult. Or you can actually see in my videos on YouTube underneath my Voice of Confidence TV, you'll see a link to book a consult, and you'll see a link to all of my online courses. If you are serious about getting some help around voice and becoming a better public speaker, then book a consult, and I'll show you how the 2 ways that you can work with me. You can be a VIP client, which is one-on-one training. I've only limited spots available for that. And then the other one is my group classes. So I do 12 weeks of group mentoring with all of my clients who just need more confidence and competence around their speaking skills. So it's applicable to so many industries, and it helps so much. Oh my God, you won't even recognize yourself after 12 weeks. It's visible and audible, the difference from where you start at week number 1 to week number 12. And we have a new class starting in 2 weeks' time. So please drop me a message, PM me. My assistant will show you how to get in contact with me for that. It will change your life. My guarantee. It will absolutely change your life. That's what it does. Hi, Chris from Belgium. Hi, Chris from Belgium. It's nice to see you here. Hi, welcome to the live show. Chris is also a live streamer, and I can't wait to see her show. So I said, want to learn more? Okay, great. So we have a masterclass coming up next week, a free 2-hour masterclass. If you are seriously considering voice and presentation coaching to move your career up to the next level, then this is a brilliant class to start at. It's a 2-hour introductory training with me live. It's not a pre-recorded webinar. It's a live webinar. I teach you live for 2 hours, and I give my everything. Ask any of my students. I bring everything to the table. And at the end of that webinar, I show you how you can work with me more closely. And you've got 2 different options, as I said, VIP and the 12-week program. There's lots that you can do. So I'm so happy to serve you guys today. This is my absolute joy. Helping people, serving the world, and helping make it a better place, one voice at a time, is my absolute jam. It's my passion. And that's what I'm here for. I had an amazing career for 35 years. I'm so, so, so blessed. It's not over yet. I still do films and commercials and singing gigs every now and then. But now I'm focused on using all of my expertise, all of my study and my 3 degrees. I bring that all into my training and help young people get out of their own way so they can step into that confidence and competence when they're ready. And let's face it, sometimes you don't feel ready. But if you really want to change your life, you have to take that step into the unknown and feel the fear and do it anyway. That has been my motto for my entire life, and it served me well. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Some of my clients, when they first start working with me, I've even had them get on the phone and say, do you know how hard it is for me to pick up the phone and call you? That's how hard it was. That's how hard some people are having it in life, because they are so socially anxious. It is not worth it. It is absolutely not worth it. Remember, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. I lived that life for a very long time, and it nearly broke me, honestly. So don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it. Okay? All right. You are very, very welcome. Okay, so we've got Jillian says, again, thank you so much. I'm off to my online class. By the way, I'm from the Philippines and kind of obsessed about practicing a British accent. Okay, stay hydrated. Have a good day. Bob, say have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Ice, for being here. That's awesome. And Chris, I'm so glad that I joined the group training. Yes, awesome. Thank you. I'm really glad that you joined the group training. All much to learn. Life is short. So let's seize the day. Check out the new video on the channel. It was uploaded last night, one of my motivational videos. And if you want to join my masterclass, then my beautiful assistant Isis just put that underneath. You are very, very welcome. I'm Elisa James. I'm here to serve. If you have any questions and I can help you in any way, have your voice heard in this world before it's too late, then make sure that you send me a PM. Mwah! You have a wonderful day. Happy hump day. I'll see you on Friday for a live stream. You are very, very welcome. I'm from Indonesia. Hi, Abdul. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so embarrassed. But thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.